wish this lesson was in front of our composition of functions lesson, because do you guys remember asking about domain and range of the square root function? We would have known it better had we had this lesson first. So I need to make a mental note and just switch those, even though my textbook lines them out in this order. We're going to do this very similar to parabolas and to the absolute value. We'll relate it to that. I like to, when possible, graph the parent function and then just translate it. That makes my life easy. I don't like to put in numbers and calculate them. I know that sounds weird for a math teacher to say that, but unless I have to. I like the shortcuts. That's part of why I like math. There's always a quicker way to do it, it seems. So the first time we're going to plot points, then after that we're going to move things up, down, left, right, and stretch or compress them. That's kind of the goal. So we need to see what it looks like. So give me some values to plug in for x, the square root of x. That's what we're graphing. Anyone, anyone, anyone?
Yeah.
1. 0 is a good one. Can I put a negative number in there?
-1, no.
What happens when I put in -1? What's the square root of -1?
I.
And can I graph that on my real xy axis here? I cannot. We can graph on imaginary axes in the future, but I won't do that to you today. We'll save that for later.
4.
I think 4 is a great number. Why didn't we choose 2?
Because left or right.
Yeah, I could get that, but then I'm guesstimating where it is, right? If I use 4, I can take the square root of 4, and Alex wants the initial point and 3 more. So I need to choose one more number to take the square root of. I love 9. So those are my values of x.
If you're lost and looking for Kayla's class, it's in Mr. Walker's room.
I wasn't lost, but that's awesome. Graph those points. We're going to have to, I don't know, sketch that one over there somewhere. Oops, that's 9. Okay, it starts here, and there it is. Usually when we graph it, we show that that is the initial starting point, kind of like the vertex, I guess. I don't know how many of you saw me when I was talking about the square root function that I kept doing this with my finger, making an arc, because I can't help but talk about it and think about its graph. We know it cannot continue to the left. Why? Remind me? Yeah, it's imaginary that way, right? So we can't graph to the left. Now, if we remember this pattern, we start, and then we've got over 1, up 1. And then I have to just remind myself, what's the next number I can take the square root of? That's over 4, up how many? 2. And if I remember over 9, up 3, I can graph all of these with just counting. We like that, right? So let's remember, what does the k do to your parent function? Up and down. Good. What does the h do to your function? Left and right, what do we know about that? It's always kind of tricky. It's the opposite direction. Opposite. And then what does the a do? Yeah, we've got a vertical, stretch, or compress. And I say multiply be up, is what I like to do. We'll talk about that in a second. You did really well with it in absolute value, so I anticipate this is going to be just as easy. Okay, parent function, there it is. What are we doing to the parent function? Moving it where? Which way? Show me with your hands. Yep, up 2. So I take that initial point. There it is, up 2. And if I can remember that pattern, I've got over 1, up 1, and then go back to your initial point for your counting, over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, up how many? 2. Then back to my initial point, over 9, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, up 3. And you'll find the ALEKS graphing tool makes this pretty friendly. Minus 3. Which way are we moving? Left or right?
Right.
To the right. How many?
3.
All right, we're going to run out of room on this. So no up or down, but that's where we start. Could you make a table on plot points? Yeah. Do you like this better?
Yeah.
Me too. All right, over 1, up 1, over 4, up 2. I can't go to the next one, so I'm just going to stop there. I ran out of room. Before we move on, let's go back and let's talk about domain. What can't we take the square root of? Negative numbers, right? So we know our domain can't be negative. Think back to when we were doing our composition of functions, f of g and g of f. How did we say that what was ever underneath the radical needed to be not negative? Not equals? Greater than or equal to? You're on the right path, yeah. So whatever's under here has to be greater than or equal to 0. Is that one already solved for? There's your domain. This one, whatever's underneath the radical, so in this case x minus 3 has to be greater than or equal to 0. Solve for x, what do? Add 3. X has to be greater than or equal to 3. Okay, we've got 2 transformations here. Tell your neighbor what we're doing. I love eavesdropping on your conversations. Good, 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 good. Down 4, and then it was right 2. Follow your pattern. Over 1, up 1. Over 4, up 2. I ran out of room again, so I'm going to stop there. What do we need to set to greater than or equal to in this case? Do we need to use the minus 4? No, only what's under here. X minus 2 needs to be positive, so x has got to be greater than 2. What's this negative going to do? Which way does it flip it? If a parabola opened up and it was negative, it flipped down. Our arm is going to flip from this direction to bring it back the other way. So it still starts at the center. Over 1, down 1. Over 4, down 2. Over 9, down 3. What's my domain here? Nothing to solve for. Wow. Hope it was worth it. Already late, he should have just walked, right? Okay, no left, right, no up or down on this one, so we know we start at the origin. And it changes our vertical scale. So I wrote up here that it multiplies the up. So let's refresh your memory because it's been a minute since we did this with absolute value. We know we would be over 1, up 1, right? But this says to multiply my up by 2. So instead of up 1, it would be up 2. So over 1, up 2. All right, we would be, the next point would be over 4, up 2, but we need to multiply that up by, so over 4, up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Over 9, up 3, multiply your up by 2, over 9, up 6. Wow, they did everything on the last one. Let's change nothing. No, let's change this to a -2 so it'll fit better. Find your initial starting point. How did I do? Good. It's kind of hard through the curved, awesome face shape. Over 1, up how many? Good. Over 1, up 3. Over 4 would have been up 2, so up how many? 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Over 9, it would have been up 3. Up 3 times 3 is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is this it? Good enough. Somewhere in there. My eyes got too blurry. What is my domain of this function? X is greater than or equal to -5. What was hard is now easy. Your assignment should be open, and you'll finish it rapidly, I believe.
There's no